Hello, everyone. Leani Lopez here with another episode of I Got Nothing, a podcast for exhausted writers. Today, I'm joined by a fellow exhausted writer. Please introduce yourself.
Hello. I don't even know how I'm going to introduce myself. I'm so exhausted.
Mood.
My name is Tasha. My last name, that's always a joke because nobody can say it correctly. We're going to go with he because that's how most people say it. It's actually, and I might even mispronounce it, even though I've had it for over 6 years. It's actually huh with like rising intonation, but we'll go with he just for good, easy sake. I am a science fiction author. My book is actually debuting this month in 10 days. I'm super excited, or at least 10 days from when we record this. I don't know when the interview will go up. Yay! April 14th. I'm super excited for that. I also, in my spare time, I run a nonprofit called Disenfranchised Writers' Voices. I am the founder and sitting president, and we support self-published, low-income and disabled authors.
Amazing. And congratulations on your first book coming out. By the time this airs, It will be out. So, oh my God.
Yes.
How exciting, and no wonder you're exhausted.
Yeah. It's been crazy. I've been on top of being disabled and having health issues, I've also been trying to really push myself to be present on social media and really be hyping up this book. I'm like, hey, it's coming, guys. You want to buy it. You really do.
Yeah. And I mean, the lead up to a release day is just insane.
Oh, yeah.
It is wild, and you're tired, and social media also takes so much energy. So yeah, no wonder you are thoroughly exhausted right now.
Oh, yeah. Social media is definitely... So I'm actually one of the weird people that enjoys algorithms and marketing and stuff like that. And I still find social media exhausting in general.
I mean, that's fair. That's totally fair. I have marketing experience, and it's still my least favorite part.
Yes. Yeah. I sympathize with you completely. I'm like, algorithm fun, interacting with people not so fun.
Yeah. Well, it's so hard when you have a release or you're working on a big project, because I know for me, that's where my focus is.
Oh, for
that's
sure.
Where all my ADHD energy is going to.
Yes.
So to have to split away from that to do necessary social media stuff, it's the worst.
It is the worst.
That's when you need to be present the most, but that's also when you're the busiest.
Yes. So my book that's coming out, it's a trilogy. So I'm also deep in the second book, the first draft of the second book. So I'm splitting 3 ways here at the moment. It's crazy.
Oh, gosh. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your book that's
Lord.
coming out?
That's always the hard question, right?
It threw you the curveball.
Right? You ask an author what their book is about, and suddenly they have no idea what they've written.
Yeah.
I'm going to inspire myself. Let me grab my copy. I have my hardcover proof with me right now. I'm going to grab it out of the bag so I can hold it, which will kick my ADHD brain into working. Remind me what I've written.
You need to have a physical copy of it.
Yes. So I've got it here. You can't see it, but I'm holding it. We're gonna hug it. And okay, so my I can't stop laughing. My book is a sci-fi dystopian. It's a near future sci-fi. It follows primarily 2 characters, but there is, of course, a bunch of more minor characters to fill up the cast here. We have Yin and Kraken, or Theopold Kraken, as his full name is. And basically, we are following both of them. Yin is a synthetic human who was grown and manipulated to be a weapon, a bioengineered weapon. And Kraken is what's called a recombinant, which means that he was also genetically enhanced, and he is a revolutionary. The book focuses quite a bit on his moral conflict and Yin's search for identity, who she is and how she fits into this world that she was made in rather than born into. And the backdrop being the politics. It's what's going on in their city state. There's a lot of commentary on, say, like classism. There you have like modernist Ignis, which is the inner ring, fancy, high tech. They have everything they could ever want, rich people. Then you have retro Ignis, which is the outer ring with people probably more like me, low income, outcasted, disabled people. In Scraptown in
Mhm.
particular, like it's where all of us disabled people got sent, apparently, which is great. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's not relevant at all to
No, not
this
at
day and
all.
age. Well, all of that sounds amazing. I love those particular themes and playing with them, especially. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I released an audio drama called Battle Cry, and it is fantasy, but it's about a group of humans who are forced to fight mythical beasts in an underground demon fighting ring.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And it became scary relevant when it was released. I thought of this like a decade ago, but I love playing with those themes of like a dystopian world and what comes from it, how people adapt, how people grow or sometimes don't grow,
Right,
or
right.
how they find themselves, especially, when you were bringing up the disabled part, like how would that work in a dystopian future? I mean, it barely works now.
Yeah,
So
right.
like, yeah, so those themes, I feel like exploring those, especially in science fiction, is just so fun. I love reading about it because I love other people's interpretations and like what they feel like may happen, or just, what their brain comes up with. So as you were writing and building this, I just had a conversation with somebody else about world building. So how do you feel about world building? Because I feel like this story requires a lot of it.
I love world building. Just one, when you were talking about like how your book was relevant, just one thought came to mind. This is something I always tell people. I said that I love to write dystopian. I didn't expect that I would be living in one right now. Like I don't want to live in
Yeah.
one, and yet here I am.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
world building, I love building worlds. This book in particular is actually really important to me, really close to my heart. I don't know if you know what play by post role play is at all. Are you familiar?
Sort of. I've heard it before. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's a bunch of writers on a forum in a world that we agree on. Like there's the rules, there's the world building, we make a character in this world. We write together. We write a story
Mm-hmm.
together. So this book is actually inspired from a role play called Palingenesis, and it was one of the happiest times in my life that I can remember. And unfortunately, like all role plays, they usually never complete. They usually die out pretty
Yep.
quickly.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Speaking to
yeah.
a dungeon master, yes, I know how
Yes,
that
yes,
goes.
it's very similar to D&D, which I have
Yeah.
now started getting into. That is my next phase.
Awesome. We will talk about that when we're done with this interview.
Yes. And so I was really upset when Palingenesis died. I made a lot of really good friends. One of them I'm still communicating with, and her character is in this book. And her approval meant everything to me once she read it. I was super happy. But Theo Kraken actually belonged to a friend of mine who now no longer writes, and I unfortunately have lost contact with them. But before we parted ways, I actually asked. I was like, "Can I adopt this character since you're no longer writing? Like, can he be mine?" And I
Yeah.
got, yeah, and they said, "Sure." And there you go. This is your character now. And I was like, "Great! I'm gonna write a novel and finish our story." And that's basically how I started. I was like, "I'm gonna give closure to Kraken and Yin's story, which will in turn give me some closure to this part of my life that meant so much to me."
Yeah, I mean, again, parallels. A lot of what I wrote in Battlecry and what I've set up for future seasons is going to pull from the campaign that we didn't get to finish just because life, pulled us in different directions. We started during quarantine when we had a lot more time.
Oh, yes.
And we kept up for a couple of years, but then life just kind of got in the way. But there are pieces of that campaign that I specifically have been saving for Battle Cry.
Yes. And there are definitely there are definitely pieces of that forum in this book. Some of the events are based on things that we wrote. Some of them, if it's from like me and Kraken and my other friend's character, they're basically the same. Like I didn't change them at all because we're all three. I own two characters, they own the other. So I was like, I can keep this. I had to basically take the forum and build my own interpretation of that world and make my own, because I didn't want it to be the same setting and the same everything.
Yeah.
So I made like Ignis and made it mine, but kept similar themes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the themes are the important bit. I mean, characters are also important. For me, characters are like the most important part of a story.
Yes.
Like you can have the best plot, you can have great dialogue, you can have all these things, but if I can't connect with your characters, then to me that's not a good story.
I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, the characters are also like, I would say characters and then world building for me, just like you. I need to love your characters before I even think about your story. Like,
yeah, I'm reading a book now for a book club I joined, and I'm enjoying it for the most part, but the main character just really gets on my nerves.
I hate to say this, I'm gonna get haters. I've felt that way a lot about young adult characters recently.
Yeah.
I'm older now, and when I read them and they act young, and I'm like, I can't stand you. Like I just can't do it.
Yeah, you've definitely, like, I just turned 37, and I've definitely crossed into that threshold of like side-eyeing teenagers at the park. And
yes. I'm side-eyeing like 19, 20-year-olds too. I'm like, you're just like I don't want to infantilize you, but you're like a baby. Like
and then you're like imagining yourself at that age, and you're like, oh, I thought I knew everything. I knew jack shit.
And then like for characters, like I know that's the point. They have to be teenagers in the books or young, and so they're gonna miscommunicate and stuff. But I just can't help sitting there reading it and be like, all you guys got to do is talk to each other. We wouldn't have a book if you talked to each other.
I do ghostwriting. I ghostwrite romance novels as well. And that's one of the things I love. One of the many things I love about my client is that we don't do the miscommunication trope. Yes. Or if we do it, it's very brief and it's not like the crux of the whole story.
Right.
And so it's for comedic value rather than like drama. And I was like, I can get behind that. But other than that, it just drives me insane. I'm like, just talk! Just use your words.
Use your words. Which, any story is going to have that to some degree where people aren't using their words, and that's how we get conflict. But it's not like the same,
Yeah. Well, speaking of using words, was the forum what triggered your interest in writing? Or I'm assuming because you were writing there, you kind of had an interest prior to that.
So I've actually been writing since, I always say like since I was old enough to type on a keyboard. I don't know the exact age. I know I was single digits. And my idea of story writing, I think my first writings were like Teen Titan fan fiction. And
always fan fiction. We appreciate fan fiction in this house.
Yes. I grew up with the Toonami era and the Teen Titans, and back when Cartoon Network was actually good, But
and geared towards kids.
Yeah. Yes. So I started typing paragraphs on my grandmother's old computer. What is that? Like, I don't know if it's like Windows 90, 94, that really, really old system.
Oh, yeah. The old school. Yeah.
And I would type paragraphs and call them chapters and print them and show them to my grandma and be like, this is my book.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yes. So
sounds familiar.
It kind of just went from there to where my paragraph long chapters started getting longer and more, developed and structured. And I very much was I still do have very much maladaptive daydreaming where I'm I think it's like part of the ADHD and some other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just, you can be talking to me and I'm just gone. I'm somewhere else.
Oh my God. Yeah, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah. I did something healthy with that. I put it into writing instead of letting it, get too bad.
It's so funny because I was chatting with my psychiatrist when I first brought up, like, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD because my husband has it, my son has it. I recognize the signs very well now. And And so we were talking, and I would talk about that, like the maladaptive daydreaming and all this stuff. And she goes, it sounds like you probably do, but it sounds like it actually helped you more than it hindered you.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, to a degree, it did, for sure.
I like to say that the teleporting through time sometimes is very helpful. Unfortunately, sometimes it happens when I'm driving. If it's someplace if it's someplace I'm familiar with and I know where I'm going, I will just kind of go away in my brain, and when I wake up, I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I don't remember how I got there.
Yeah, I had to drive my son to his therapy every day, like Monday through Friday, which is like a half an hour away. So it was like an hour of my day on the road, just like listening to music. And it was only music that he wanted to listen to, which thankfully ended up being one of my playlists for a project I was working on.
Well, that's good, at least.
So I would just constantly like brainstorming and thinking of the story on that drive.
I see things in my head as like a movie. So
same.
Yeah, when I'm brainstorming scenes on my book, I'm like watching it happen, and it's kind of the coolest thing, I love that my brain is set up to do that.
Yeah, I've been with my husband for 18 years, and I just learned his brain does not do that.
Yeah, I've heard that some people don't even have internal thoughts. Yeah.
I was like, then what do you see? And he's like, I don't know, I don't really see anything. I was like, but how is that? How do you not have the visions? That's not fair. He's like, different flavor of ADHD. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I mean, yes, some people, I remember, like, some people don't even have internal dialogue. I'm like, then what do you do? How do you think?
Then is your brain quiet then? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
That makes no sense to me.
What is a quiet brain? I'm not sure what that is.
No idea. Absolutely could not tell you. Because how important this story was to you, or just, in general, writing a book is so time consuming and difficult. What did it feel like when you finished it?
It still doesn't feel real. Like, I'm sitting here staring at a copy of my book. I know that I have 15 copies at home, and 16 more just arrived. And I know that they all exist, and I know that they're all at my house. And still, I'm like, I don't think you're real. This can't be mine.
Yeah, when I unwrapped my first physical book, because my first ever book was an ebook, because it was released before the indie author thing was happening. It was just ebooks on Amazon. That's all you could really do. So I don't have a physical copy of my first book, which is not available anymore because it was supposed to be a trilogy, and that just did not work out. But when I relaunched my writing career after I decided to write full time, and I got the first physical copy of my book, I cried. I was just like silently crying, and I was like to my husband, I was like, don't look at me. And I was like hiding behind my book. Just like, oh my God. It's wild.
Yeah, I definitely did not cry. I think I actually made a video of unwrapping these proofs, because I was like, this will be great marketing. It performed really well, actually.
That's the thing about being an indie author and self-publisher. You always got to have that thought in the back of your head amongst the other 1,000 other thoughts you're trying to think about.
But I remember after doing that I just kind of sat down and flipped through it. I have decided that I like my hardcovers way more than my paperbacks. I just like that they seem tougher, and I don't know. I just think they're better. But I started reading, and I have actually read my book in physical form. Which is super cool, but also I'm sitting here reading this, and you know what they say about your first book. It's not going to be as good as your second, and your second won't be as good as your third. I used to think that wasn't true. I used to be like, no, this book is great. This is really like the best I've ever written. And I'm sitting here reading it, and now I'm just like, this writing is flat. This part is weak. I could have fixed this. I used too much of this word.
Yep, that is why I refuse to read any of my books right now.
Well, it's ended up being very helpful, because now I can go forward, and I've been making those changes in the second one, and now my second one is the best thing I've ever written.
I feel that way about my current book that I'm working on. I've been working on it for a really long time, so it's gone through many iterations, and it's grown as I've grown. And I just finished drafting the last couple chapters, so I've been fleshing them out. And I had a friend of mine read the first couple chapters, and she gave me some really great constructive feedback about like tightening up sentences and things like that. So I've been catching that as I'm editing the second half of the book. So like it's like if I were to read it all the way through, it like you're gonna see a distinct change in the verbiage, like moving to the second half. So once I'm done like doing a individual chapters, I'll start from the beginning, but there's gonna be a lot of like don't need that, cross that out, get rid of that.
I am the same way. I know exactly what you're talking about because I do it too. I edit as I go a lot because my brain, I can't really sustain focus without getting, the ADHD boredom where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. So when I start to feel that, I switch to editing. So my draft is like an amalgamation of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drafts all together, all changing. And eventually I make it cohesive, but I do the same. You can actually see, it's very interesting. You can see when I'm reading at that time something that's more technical or something that's more purple prose because my writing will change.
My writing is third person, past tense, but for ghostwriting, I do first person, present tense. So when I switch between the two, oh boy.
Yes.
Like, if I'm working on them on the same day, I have to really pay attention and go back because there will be like the wrong tenses.
Yes. I do third person past tense, but I try to do deep third as much as I can to really get you in the character's brain. And it's really interesting to watch me go I'll start writing I love purple prose. I'm just going to say it. I love purple prose. I wish I could write that way. I wish that was my style. My style is more dry and it is more technical. But when I read a prosy book, I can write prosy for a while. So my style has ended up being a mix. And somebody has actually said that in a review of mine that my style is like an amalgamation of like, really dry and technical and very prosy at the same time. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I listen to audiobooks just because I don't have time to sit down and physically read as much as I would like to.
Same.
And I noticed when I listened to the last book for my book club, it was all very flowy words and purple prose. And when I went back to like editing, like I was suddenly like channeling that prose. And I was like, nope, hold on. Gotta get my old like voice back, especially for the character I'm writing for. She's not a prosy person. So it's having to like, and it's honestly gotta be like part of it, the ADHD thing of just absorbing like the language of what you're presented with. It happens all the time. Like, especially if I'm like binging a show, like I'll be talking and my husband's like, you're talking like this character. And I was like, oh, shit, sorry. Like, it just happens.
Yes, it does. I think a lot of it too for me is also autism. Growing up, I never really knew who I was because I was busy mirroring other people and how they spoke and how they acted. And I would kind of take on whoever was around me. I would take on the personality of that group and be that person. And I think I still do that, like with the writing as well. Like I just kind of my style can just change so much because it just depends on what I'm watching and what I'm reading at the time, which means I really should be smart and only read purple prose if that's how I want to write when I'm writing my novel.
Well, I mean, I am a firm believer in consuming other media and other genres, even if you write in only one particular one, because you never know what you're going to be influenced by. So but it is funny when you're watching a show and it's like, or reading a book that's like magic and fairies and fantasy. And then all of a sudden you start like talking like you're a fae creature and you're just like, oh, whoop, no, hold on. Gotta turn that part off. Gotta turn my personality back on.
Yes. And I mean, some of my inspirations that I've gotten from the second book are they're not dystopian. They're not post-apocalyptic shows. Grey's Anatomy has inspired me. And that's nothing like what I write.
Yeah. I mean, I told my friends and the cast of Battle Cry that it's going to be very different for season 2, because season 1 was very like self-contained dystopian fantasy, where like a dungeon jail kind of thing, and season 2 is nothing like that.
Yes.
So it's this is the first time I'm revisiting a world that I established already, and I mean, I feel like as you're writing the second book to your trilogy, like getting to continue on with those characters, or at least in that setting, is such nuance to me that I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm so excited to stick with these characters for a while.
I feel the same way you're feeling writing my second book. I'm actually a little worried. So Xenogenesis is very it's character driven, but it's really action driven too. Like it's got like a thriller pace basically. It's kind of go, 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 lots of action, lots of cool fighting and stuff like that. The second book isn't, and I'm worried about that almost, because it's darker, it explores darker themes, and it's more emotional. It's a psychological journey. So it's going to be a complete 180, and people may not respond to that well, but I really love it.
I feel like the best stories do evolve, though, past their inception. Some of my favorite shows kept the themes the same, but grew into something else. Like, even, like, one of my favorite shows that I watch on repeat is The Good Place. And think of the first season, and then you think of the last season and where the show ends. And the themes are there. The setting kind of switches, but it still feels the same throughout the whole thing, because you're connected with the characters and their growth and what they're learning and what they're going through. And I feel like if your world remains contained, then your characters aren't really given space to grow.
Yeah.
And if a character is not growing, then I'm not interested.
Exactly. I feel that way too. So I've got my fingers crossed. I really hope, because I mean, it's going to be my favorite of the trilogy. I can already tell. Like, I'm so in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, I finally wrote a couple of scenes of season 2. I was doing a lot of world building first because it's going to be different. And I was updating like character sheets because I'm, D&D based. So that's just always now in my world building when I go into new projects. And I wrote a couple of scenes that kind of continue from season 1. And I was like, yeah, this feels right.
Yes.
But it's also really weird because they're in a completely different setting, but they still have all the knowledge they had from before, so I don't have to hold back information as much anymore. It's a very strange feeling, but I'm very excited, and I mean, I'm sure you are as well, getting to like continue this trilogy.
I'm so excited. Yes, I can't wait. I'm almost done with this draft. I'm actually going to be looking for alpha readers very soon to get that going.
Oh, that's always a joy.
Yes.
And not stressful at all.
Especially since it's now a second book. It's going to be even harder, because it's either going to have to be people that enjoyed the first book and are willing to alpha read, or somebody that will either take a summary or will have to read the first book first. And that's going to be so much harder than just finding somebody and being like, this is a standalone. Here you go. Good luck.
Which is hard enough as it is.
Yes. So that's going to be a challenge, and I do not look forward to it, but I will rise to meet it.
Well, since this is a writing advice podcast, I like to ask my guest, what is the best or worst piece of writing advice you've ever received?
Oh, Lord. There's so many of like the worst advice. So I'll try to focus on to make a decision. Yeah.
I don't mind you talking about the worst, because I've had a few people who didn't have any worst, so I am here for the tea. So
It'd be so much easier to decide on the best, though. So like the best, for sure, I can give. I'll try to give both. I think the best piece of advice was like, you can't edit a blank page. That one is very true. I like the logic.
Use that all the time.
Yes.
Yep. I'm an author coach, and that's my main thing, because people are like, I want it to be perfect. I was like, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's my big thing too. I'm a very big perfectionist, and eventually I just had to let go and be like, it's never going to be, it's not for everybody, and that's true. That it'll never be loved by the whole world. Just let it go.
Yeah.
So that's good advice. Like a technique that goes with that works for me sometimes when I'm stuck is ghost sentences. So I've used that quite a few times. You just start writing whatever comes to your head. It doesn't have to be relevant to the book at all. It's just sentences. Get words on the page.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
eventually transition into the actual story and then go back after and delete the irrelevant ghost sentences. So it kind of gets you started so it's not a blank page and it's less intimidating.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, so I've used that quite a bit and it's worked. Worst pieces of advice. Most of this, so for me, the worst pieces of advice have been most of the standard advice given by most people. So that's why there's so much of it. No, it's so true. Like they say, don't edit as you go. Like, no, that doesn't work for me. Edit as you go if you want to. People act like these things are rules when they're guidelines. They are suggestions. You don't have to do it that way to be correct.
Yeah, you are not the first author to tell me that on this podcast, which is why I'm laughing so hard. Because it's like it's like all these quote golden rules, and half the authors I talk to is like that just doesn't work for me.
Right.
And I think that's the rule. Like
Yeah.
that's the main piece of advice is that you're going to get a lot of advice, which is why there are so many episodes of this podcast, and it's really up to you to decide what advice works for
Yes.
you and what doesn't.
My advice is to ignore that advice.
Valid. Absolute valid advice.
Yes.
Oh my God. I know. I had a piece of advice from someone that was like, they wanted me to change the language on something that I had written. And they're like, well, the way you have it now kind of alienates your readers. So, people who actually like that thing are going to be offended. And I was like, people are going to be offended no matter what.
Exactly.
Like, it's not, you can't write for everybody because not everybody is going to like it.
Exactly.
So you might as well just write for yourself and stick to what's true for you.
Yeah, you'll find your people eventually. It's just a matter of getting out there.
Exactly. There's a reason why most people enjoy reading. It's because there's so much variety and there's so many exceptions to the rules that unfortunately we don't get to see that often in popular media. But I feel like with indie writing and indie publishing, that's shifting a lot. And people are looking for more creative stories that don't follow the typical story norm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. Of course, if you if you always talk to me about writing, of course, I'm always going to say that you need to know the industry that you're in, which is another piece of advice that I would hope that people don't ignore. If you're going to be in publishing business, because writing is a hobby, but publishing is a business, you need to actually know the business, the industry. And so many writers just jump in and then have no idea about anything. They don't know what beta readers are or ARC readers or editors and what the type of editors there are. They don't know about the FTC, which is a huge problem if they're in the US or using a US based company, because violating the FTC can be about 50 grand per violation. And I see a lot of violations when I look at social media. So people really need to know the law of the industry that they're writing in as well.
For sure. I've had people ask me like, "Oh, you're a self-published writer. Like, I want to self-publish a book. Like, how much do you make a month?" And blah 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 blah, and like all these like questions. And I was like, "Well, first off, if that's what you're thinking about, this is not the business for you.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, you have to. Like, I really went into detail with someone like." It's not just about having a book. You need to edit that book. You need to market that book. You need to be on social media. You need to research who you're going to publish that book through. Like, there's so many different pieces. And it's, if you're approaching it like a hobby, like, people are like, "Oh, I could do that in my spare time." And I'm like, am I a joke to you? This is my full-time job. And that's the reason it's my full-time job.
And also, if you're thinking about the money, good luck, I guess. Like most of us don't make our money back in our investment. So
no, I had when I was working on Battle Cry, and I was explaining like it's an audio drama, it's a podcast. Podcast is closest thing to what it is. And I was kind of explaining. This one person was like, "How do you get funding for that?" And I just was like, "You don't." That's not why you do it.
You can try. I mean, there are scholarships and funds and grants and stuff out there, but
Yeah.
again, good luck,
For the most part, it's just you have a story to tell and you're putting the story out there. Like it's rare for you to make money from something like that, and that's not why I'm doing it. It was a very kind of, oh, you are very detached from this kind of
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I really hope that more people as they go into the publishing industry will educate themselves and not believe everything they read on social media, because a lot of misinformation exists on social media about like the stuff I've been talking about, like what is what. And most of them
Yeah.
don't, again, most of them don't know what the FTC is, which is crazy to me. But one of the things I harp on a lot on social media is the difference between an editorial review and a consumer review, because there's a huge amount of misinformation where people don't even know what an editorial is. So they apply consumer review rules to editorials. It's like, that's not the same thing. There's different rules here. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, it's the same thing with people who don't read up about the genre they're writing in or
yes,
don't do
genre
their
expectations.
research.
Yes.
Yeah, that they want to subvert the genre, but you can't do that until you know the genre, know what it's about, and know why it's popular, what people expect from it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like you can only subvert so much too. There are certain,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I don't write romance, but I know for it to be a romance genre novel, it must have happily ever after, which is a big fight on the internet, no matter how many times you bring it up. But that is a genre expectation, and you will not get a happy reception if you don't
Yeah.
at least have happy for now.
Yeah, exactly. And as someone who, for ghostwriting, writes purely like romantic comedies, but for my own does not do that. I know what the expectation for a romance is, so, and I've written so many of them at this point over the last 7 years. I've honestly lost count, but I know what's expected, and so in my own work, if it is leaning romance, I try to keep those expectations within a certain degree. But that's
Yeah,
also why most of my personal stuff is not strictly romance. It's romance mixed with something else.
right. And yeah, like I have romance in my second novel, but it's not a romance novel. So that would mean that it's actually, so I have a sci-fi dystopian, but it has a love story in it, but it's not a
Yeah.
romance.
Yeah. There's a difference, and I don't think
Yes.
people realize that.
Yes, there's a big difference. If it doesn't have HEA or HFN, it is a love story. It is not a romance genre novel.
Yeah, I think that reminds me of a comment I got on one of my fan fiction stories. And it was, there is obviously a romance element, and it is mostly romance. We follow the romantic relationship of these two characters. But this person posted a comment essentially being like, I was worried you were going to fall into the same trap that all other romance writers do, which is forgetting other characters exist and focusing on just the two characters. And I was like, that's romance. I'm not
That's
forgetting they exist.
right. Like this
The
story is
point is
about
they're a
the
romantic
couple.
relationship.
Yes.
Not only that, but like a bunch of chapters they got kidnapped and then they were on vacation, so there was literally no other characters around.
Right.
Like, I was just like, then why are you reading romance? Like, if that's the problem you have a problem with the genre, because that's
Right.
what it is.
Like it's supposed to be about, I mean we could have multiple people in a relationship. I mean we could do polyam, sure, but it's still then about those people. It's not about
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah. So yes, big piece of advice: know the industry, know the business, and know the genres. Please do
Exactly.
some research. Just even a little bit of research, please.
At the very least, please know the law.
That too. It's very important to know the law. Oh, well, Tasha, this was wonderful. I'm sure we could go on for like another 2 hours. But where can people find you online?
You can mostly find me. I don't have a website, so we can mostly find me on Instagram. I mean, I'm he the dot author on Instagram.
I will put the link in the description of this episode. And also, I will put the link to your book because by the time this comes out, your book will be out.
Yay! I'll give you a
Yay!
universal link so people can go wherever they want. Because I am wide. I am not only on KU or anything. I am everywhere.
Perfect. This is a reminder that I do have a Patreon. Patrons receive episodes up to 2 days earlier than the general public. There are exclusive blogs and podcast episodes that are only found on Patreon. You'll also receive discounts on writing services, behind-the-scenes tidbits for Battle Cry, including access to our blooper reel, access to my Discord server, and shout-outs in future podcast episodes. So head over to patreon.com/Leani M. Lopez or check out the link in the description. Thanks again, Tasha. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And as always, happy writing.